Alright, time to get back into a Pathfinder book. So this, as you can see, is the NPC codex. So this whole theme is going to be all about NPCs. So in this book, as you can see, has the introduction. So we're going to be going through core classes, prestige classes, NPC classes, iconic characters, and appendices. So what this does is gives you ideas that you can make up a bunch of NPCs. So hence the name NPC Codex and everything. So as we flip through, it usually all the pretty much all these types of books gives you little artwork, and as you can do, you can pause to actually read the actual little blurb that they have to begin each chapter and everything. So what you do, as you can see, you get concepts that you can do for each character class, like the savage mercenary the uh, uh, for the barbarian. So like you can see human barbarian, and so what it does gives you like a fleshed out character for barbarian, dwarven rager, so axe warrior, dog rider. So it gives you ideas for each individual type of like a barbarian that you could play, and so it showcases this at different levels and everything. So like for instance, Wild Lancer, it shows a half elf barbarian, and it would be at like a level 5. So like if, for instance, in this case, what these do is you give you NPCs that you can in a sense stand up against the PCs and everything. So these are like in a sense pre-made characters, or like you could in a sense use them as like pretty much like henchmen or like hirelings that the characters could hire out. So this is how it goes through each and every single one of the core classes. Like you're seeing barbarian classes here, so like different types of classes, or types of ideas I should say, for the actual barbarian. And so it goes through and as you can see here with the scarred wanderer, it goes all the way up to level 20. So you can see it gives you the CR rate and the amount of experience you get, like a medium humanoid dwarf, a chaotic neutral. So it gives you the whole idea for a type of NPC that since the PCs could go up against for this type of an NPC. So then we get into the same kind of concept with the bard. So tavern singer, level 1, and it follows the same kind of concepts, pretty much all the way up through level 20. So this is how it goes through the actual classes and the levels. So it gives you ideas for any level of campaign that you run in. So it could in a sense go all the way through levels 1 through 20. So and of course it gives you also names of the actual characters and stuff. So you could like I said, run them as NPCs, as villains, or you could have them as hirelings or whatever. So you can see a mercenary healer right here, a medium humanoid. So is that as I can actually get that on camera, a mercenary healer, Zen Merces, a CR 1/2, experience 200. He's a human cleric of Abadar, level 1, lawful evil. So he would be a perfect villain to start off with and everything. So you can see this is I'll reiterate, this is how this book is set up. So kind of now quickly go through skip over some of the stuff, because this is how this book is now set up with these classes. So now you can see pretty much you could the fire diabolist, human cleric, Asmodeus, level 20. So CR 19 experience would give 204 lawful evil human. So he would be a good example of a big bad evil guy that you could use for the end of the campaign and everything. So then we get into each of the subsequent classes. So the druid. So kind of now flip through druid. Now we get into the actual fighter. So the concepts are the same, just the only thing that really changes is the monk. So it gives you all the stats and everything that you need for each type of character and character class. So now we get into, as you can see, the paladin. It goes pretty much I said, levels 1 through 20 for each of the actual character classes, and gives you ideas for each instance level for each character class. And I'll reiterate, you could, like, these are prime examples that you can use as villains. I mean, you could technically use them as like a mercenaries, hirelings, henchmen. So like you're only limited by your pretty much like your knowledge, or your, I should say, imagination. So like a rogue, a ranger. Now we're getting into like a sorcerer, so you can kind of see how the concept follows the same suit and everything. Like levels 1 through 20. Then we get into wizard, different names for it and everything. Levels 1 through 20. And then we get into the prestige classes, and like it talks about like the different prestige classes: arcane trickster, assassin, dragon disciple, duelist, the eldritch knights. Like basically like the ones that have appeared in like a previous reiterations of games. So like what comes to mind is third edition, where these first appeared. So like I want to say they first appeared in probably 3.5, but like I lumped edition 3 and like third edition and 3.5 together. So like if I say third edition, sometimes I'll mean third edition and or 3.5 as well. So then it goes through the same kind of concept for these prestige classes. So like for instance, like the chaos arrow here, gnome rogue 6, sorcerer 4, and then arcane archer 10. So like you got like a good level 20 character right there for like your arcane archer, and same kind of concept with like undead bane here. So like level 17, so 9 ranger, 1 sorcerer, and then level 7 arcane archer. So follows the same kind of suit for like the core classes, just with the prestige classes. So what this these first 2 chapters does is takes the core classes, the prestige classes, and gives you characters to pretty much pit up against your PCs. So then in this third chapter, as you can see, NPC classes. Now we get into the actual like NPC classes, like the that you see like in third edition, like the acolyte. You see like here. And you get into the adept classes, so like these would be pretty much like a minor, I would say considered minor characters compared to like your core and prestige classes and everything. So it lets you use the instance the the NPC classes to be able to create NPCs and everything. So, and of course, me, I'd lean more towards like the actual classes and prestige classes to do something like this and everything. But that's just my preference, and so like you don't necessarily need to like oh well this is what he says, so we have to do this that way. So it gives you the in a sense the commoner like classes. So like now in this chapter you can see we get into the iconic characters. So the iconic characters are pretty much the characters that have been like were used to playtest this. So like for instance, like you can see the iconic barbarian. So Amiri, I'm probably going to butcher names and everything. So like what they do is they show like showcase that each iconic character at different levels. So like here how they start off with like level 1, then we go to level 7, then like up to like level 12, and so like you can see the different iconic characters with the different classes. So like for instance, like a lot of times like these characters are the ones that play tested the game, so like they're like that's why they're iconic. So like you can see like the iconic bard here, same kind of concept, like levels 1 up to level 7 and like up to level 12. So it has like these characters already fleshed out, leveling up. So then like we get into the actual cleric, and so we go through like the actual like each individual class and everything. So Valeris, the iconic fighter, and then we got iconic monk, the Sajin. I always butcher pronunciation. So then we got the iconic paladin, and like good old ranger. So like a dwarven ranger at that and everything. So usually you see elven rangers, so that's kind of like a cool concept of dwarven rangers. So then we get into the iconic rogue, iconic sorcerer. So like I'm sure like if you see other products of Pathfinder, you'll notice these iconic characters in them, especially adventures and stuff. So like I do have like in this accessory box that I did last week. You probably like recognize some of these characters from that and everything. So like that's where the iconic characters can kind of rise and shine and everything. So then you get into the appendices where you can actually do like as you can see here, a bunch of animals, animal companions, and gives you all the stats that for like you need for those animals. And build like a pretty kitty. So it gets, like I said, plenty of animals, and then of course you got encounter groups. So like what you can do gives you ideas for like a different levels, like low level, mid level, high level for arcane warriors and archer bands. So it gives you plenty of ideas like barbarian war bands. So it gives you like the different and plus different levels, like I said. So like you're not just like oh well I can't use this book for a high level because it doesn't have that, or I can only use this, I can't use this for low level because it only has mid level. So it gives you like ranges so you can like kind of like pick and choose so where your campaign lies, where it's in beginning, middle, or end, meaning low level, mid level, or high level. So it gives you these like different scales and everything. So it's scalable, and of course then we finish off with the pretty much like the index and everything. So this is the NPC codex book. So what it does is gives you like plenty of ideas on how on the pre-made characters with the core classes, the prestige classes, the NPC classes. Plus, it gives you the iconic characters that you could, in a sense, use as pre-made, pre-generated characters to kind of like if you're in a bind to like you're starting off a new group, like okay, here's some characters and everything, let's have that and everything. So using iconic characters is kind of like a, and again kind of the concept again like the beginner's box or starter deck. So this again, this is the NPC codex book, and it gives you the whole like background for like on how to like use and create NPC. So you can use the templates in here on in this to create your own. So that's where this book shines, is like not only giving you pre-made NPCs, but it gives you the template to be able to create your own